Here's an alternate idea on saving water and energy and so forth. It's worth a consideration. Take a look. From laundry to landscape, tap into gray water. Recycling your household water is smart and often surprisingly simple. Find out how you can embrace this new source of water. A few simple components connect your washing machine to the outdoors. In the United States, the average person uses about 40 gallons of water per day to bathe, wash dishes, and clean clothes. Unfortunately, this water almost always goes straight down the drain. But this gray water could be put to good use to irrigate fruit trees and other plants. Gray water refers to all used household water except water from toilets, which is called black water. Historically, state laws have dealt with water from your sink, shower, or washing machine in exactly the same way as water from the toilet. It's all considered sewage that requires treatment. Consequently, home systems that use gray water for irrigation are sometimes illegal. However, in recent years, gray water activists have been working to change this attitude and the state codes that enforce it. Now, with more than half of U.S. states facing water shortages and the momentum shifting as some states change their codes, we think gray water reuse is coming into the mainstream. Many policymakers are beginning to see gray water as a valuable resource that, with a few simple precautions, can be safely reused in home landscapes. For decades, gray water has been a boon to gardeners in dry climates. But using gray water has many other benefits in all regions. Gray water use lowers your water bill, and diverting gray water from overloaded or failing septic systems can extend their life. Reusing water saves energy. Gray water irrigation replaces water that would otherwise be treated to drinking water quality. And it also isn't treated at the sewage treatment plant, saving more energy. And perhaps most importantly, more efficient water use reduces pressure on scarce water resources, especially in the drier parts of the country, where farmers, individual households, and wildlife all face the problem of limited water supplies. A simple laundry to landscape system. The simplest type of gray water use is to collect water in a dishpan as you hand wash dishes, and then toss it over your flower beds or fruit trees. This is a wonderfully simple, inexpensive way to tap into gray water. But with just a little more effort and expense, you can capture much more water. One of the easiest and most popular gray water systems is a landscape direct system that diverts gray water from your washing machine and routes it to mulch basins around trees or bushes. This laundry to landscape system captures gray water from the drain hose of the washing machine and sends it out to your plants through 1-inch tubing, without the need to alter existing plumbing. You can expect to harvest 10 to 25 gallons of water per load for a horizontal axis machine, or about 40 gallons per load for a vertical axis machine. According to Art Ludwig, author of Create an Oasis with Gray Water, the laundry to landscape system is the simplest, least expensive, and lowest effort way to get the most gray water out onto the landscape. The washing machine's internal pump pushes the water outside through the tubing, so these systems can work without any additional pumps on flat or downward sloping sites. Creating this type of system is as simple as installing a diverter valve on your washing machine, attaching and positioning the hose, and digging simple mulch basins for your plants. The mulch basins provide room for gray water to spread out around the plants, as well as preventing gray water from running off or creating pools where mosquitoes could breed. The mulch also helps keep grease and soap from clogging the soil. These gray water systems typically cost $75 to $200 if you do the work yourself, or up to $2,000 if you hire a professional. This type of system works best for trees, bushes, and large annuals or perennials. You can build a landscape direct graywater system yourself if you're knowledgeable about plumbing and basic landscaping. A plumber familiar with graywater systems can help install the diverter valve. Or hire a landscaper or plumber who has experience with graywater to install your complete system. Other graywater system options. You can also use a branched drain system to send water from your showers and sinks to mulch basins. This system relies on gravity to distribute the water, so it only works if the plants are located below the source of the water. Branch drains require little maintenance because there are no moving parts that could break. These systems can be simple or nearly impossible to install. It depends on your existing plumbing. If your garden is above your water source, you can install a pump designed for dirty water, called an effluent pump, to move water uphill in 1-inch tubing. Graywater can be used with drip irrigation, but needs to be filtered first. Manufactured systems use filters to remove solids and pumps to send the water into special graywater compatible drip irrigation tubing. Drip graywater systems can distribute water to more and smaller plants, but the filters require regular cleaning and maintenance. More complicated graywater projects are expensive, complex, and require a higher level of maintenance, so they're best suited for larger applications such as apartments, schools, and commercial buildings. One example of a larger graywater project is Casa Dominguez, an affordable housing development in Los Angeles County, where graywater from the complex's washing machines is used to water the landscaping plants. Treated graywater can also be used to flush toilets, as in the Mercy Housing Building in Chicago, where 96 apartments flush with graywater. For home systems, keep in mind that simpler is almost always better. In our experience, the more complicated, high-maintenance systems sometimes fail, while the systems that work best for home are usually those designed to require minimal care. Using graywater safely. Before using graywater in your yard, there are a few precautions to be aware of. One is that when you use graywater, you'll want to choose natural soaps that break down in the environment and won't harm plants. Stay away from any cleaners with bleach or other toxic ingredients. Avoid sodium and boron, which are fine for us but bad for plants and soil. See resource list below for some specific brands of graywater friendly cleaners. It's a good idea to avoid direct contact with graywater. Wash water often contains small amounts of bacteria that come from your clothes or body. Always follow these rules when using graywater at home. You can use graywater on edible plants, but only fruit trees or crops such as corn or raspberries, where the edible part is off the ground. Don't use it to water root vegetables. Never store graywater for longer than 24 hours. If you reroute your plumbing, install a diverter valve so you can choose when to send water to the graywater system and when it should go into the sewer or septic system. Don't allow graywater to pool up or run off. Make sure it can soak into the ground. Finally, bear in mind that even simple systems will require some engagement from you, your family, and your guests. Label pipes and valves so others know how to operate the system, and be sure others know what kinds of soaps can be used. Check mulch basins regularly to be sure they're functioning correctly. Greywater in the Southwest. Greywater codes are gradually changing, but considerable work needs to be done before everyone in the United States can use greywater legally. So far, greywater advocates have been most active in the Southwest. In California, efforts at greywater reform have been mixed, but there have been some recent improvements. Changes to greywater codes began in Santa Barbara in 1989, but for many years it remained difficult to get permits for greywater systems in California. Most people using greywater ignored the codes, and unpermitted systems became the norm. At one point, California hosted an estimated 1.7 million illegal greywater systems. In 2009, California revamped its Greywater Codes. The new code allows simple laundry to landscape systems without a permit, but requires permits and inspections for most greywater systems. Arizona may have one of the best models for greywater use. We conducted a study in southern Arizona and found that 13% of people were using greywater, all illegally, says Val Little, director of the Water Conservation Alliance of Southern Arizona. Since we couldn't inform them how to do it properly due to the restrictive state code, we worked to create new performance-based regulations. Now, if people follow the guidelines, their system is legal. In Arizona, there are no fees, permits, or inspections for systems that use less than 400 gallons per day and follow the guidelines. Larger systems require permits. In the decades since the code change, statewide tax credits, water district support, free classes, and online pamphlets have promoted widespread greywater use without any reported problems. Texas, New Mexico, and Wyoming have since created similar performance-based codes. Other state greywater codes. If you live in the Midwest, South, or Northeast, your state most likely either has no specific greywater code or else greywater is regulated along with septic systems. Legal reuse can be costly, requiring small leach fields or expensive engineered plans. Here are a few examples of state greywater regulations. Keep in mind that greywater codes are complex and updated frequently, so keep your ears open for what's happening in your state. Florida bans outdoor greywater use, but allows indoor use for flushing toilets. In Georgia, since the last drought, you can legally carry greywater in buckets to plants or build a complex greywater system with a permit, but you can't get a permit to build a simple greywater system. Washington's new code allows some small systems without a permit, but imposes stringent requirements on other systems. Oregon's proposed code mandates an annual permit fee, a move that is already generating opposition. If you're not happy with the greywater codes in your state, contact your legislators about changing them. There are many benefits to be gained from moving towards less restrictive greywater codes. With codes in place supporting safe and simple reuse, greywater could reduce U.S. water by 600 million gallons per day by creating a new source for non-potable uses. Code change also opens up a new job market. Every plumber and landscaper could potentially build simple greywater systems for their customers, and there should be plenty of demand for inexpensive landscape direct systems. Building your own simple system is even more affordable, and as common sense code changes make it easier to tap into greywater, recycling your water is looking more and more like a smart idea. Get ready to load up your washing machine and watch your garden thrive. So here's an idea. Instead of regulating clothes washers to the point that they can't get clothes clean anymore, why don't we work with greywater? That's kind of almost like we're not doing laundry at all. I mean, I could see how you could plumb the toilets together, you know, on a line to go to the septic, and then, I don't know, use some kind of main diverter valve or something, I don't know. But plumb all the other things, the sinks, the the washer, all that, plumb that to go into a greywater system. And, if you needed to wash something particularly toxic or whatever, it wouldn't be good for the plants, hit the diverter valve, for the moment, and then, open it back up when you're done. You could have all the water from your sinks, your tub, your shower, your washing machine, your dishwasher, all that, a main area, a main holding tank of some sort, something that your system, your watering system could be tied into that goes out to all the different plants in your yard. Now, all of a sudden, you're not watering your outside plants. You're not using any extra water to water those outside plants. You could run little PVC pipes under the ground for your garden. So the water wasn't even kind of at the surface if you didn't want it to be, or lay them on the ground and mulch over the top. Then you are not using water resources to water outside at all, period. Do you know how much water you can use watering a garden and trees and irrigating? Heck, for lawns, you could probably run pipes under the lawn to let the water seep out under the ground to water your grass. I mean, it could happen. It could happen. And it would be like eliminating washing clothes at all, water-wise. You know, wow. It could be so good for the environment. You know, I'm already using it, limited amount. You know, I use a dish tub to soak dishes in before they go in the dishwasher. That tub can be carried, you know, or dumped into a 5-gallon bucket that I carry outside to my, you know, plants outside. You know, what limited plants I have. The ground here is rocky and horrible, so I only have limited amount of plants. You know, but I use it. Now, I wish I could reclaim body washing water. And, you know, if I had a big enough container, I could probably reclaim clothes washer water. I probably could. I would have to run a pipe from the drain tube to the outside, because I'd have to have a container big enough to hold the water. You know, it would take a little work, but I bet you I could reclaim clothes washer water, because that pipe's free. The drain pipe for the washer is free. So I could attach it as needed to make that work. The showers and tub and sinks, a little more complicated. But anyway, I think this is a better idea than exterminating our clean clothes into extinction. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, think on it. You know, how might that work in your world? At least use used sink water. Water your houseplants. Those of you people that have houseplants, I don't know. Scoop it into some kind of ice cream bucket or something and set your plant inside. Leave your plant there for an hour. It soaks up the water. It's happy. And you've used no extra water to water your houseplants. Anyway, think on how it could be used in your house. Till next video. Bye.